Hey everybody, CVH here, and today we have some news. Chaos Arena is back again this month, as expected, from October 20th to 22nd, this very weekend, so not a lot of time left to wait if you're watching this video the day I'm putting it up. More specifically, it'll be Friday, October 20th from 12 p.m. Eastern to Monday, October 23rd, until right before the same time Eastern. But this is not the normal Chaos Arena event. There is an addition, which I thought I would just talk about in today's video in case you get your news from this channel, and then sort of ramble on and discuss my thoughts on the mode. Not too long, but I do have some thoughts on the addition to Chaos Arena. If you're unaware of what Chaos Arena is in the first place, Shogorath basically takes over the arena, and it gets really wacky. Some random effects happen. There's a zoo lane that turns everything into random animals. You're unsure which lane condition or which game condition you'll encounter. Game by game, it could be different. Some lanes could be bigger, some could be smaller. The combinations of different lane effects happen. It's really strange and definitely a little bit unsettling for your first time. But if you're interested in a game mode that wacky, I do have some videos on my channel of some highlights from previous Chaos Arenas if you want a little bit more detail about what it is. But let's talk about this Chaos Arena coming up, the Wabbajack Edition. You all are probably familiar with Wabbajack the card, transforms a random creature into another random creature, but this time, Shogorath has given you his Wabbajack to use while drafting your deck. There is a condition in Chaos Arena where both players start with the actual support card Wabbajack on the board already to use, but in this mode, up to 5 times during the draft, you may transform your 3 card picks into new entirely random cards. The Wabbajack cards will be the same rarity as your original picks, but may also include cards from outside your chosen class, making for some truly unique deck recipes. While Chaos Arena bucks a few traditions, rewards based on your total wins remain the same as Versus Arena, and as always, 3 losses end you're out. And then it says here, and as for you, my little mortal minion, feel free to keep the Wabbajack. So that could mean a number of things. It could actually mean that every game we have Wabbajack on the board, like the other condition in Chaos Arena, but what I'm just going to infer that it means is that we probably all get a copy of Wabbajack for entering the Chaos Arena this time, which is cool. And I also think something else that's cool is this sort of art or animation going on right here with the Wabbajack on board. That does look very nice. So let's talk about this new edition of Chaos Arena just a bit. I do have some thoughts on the mode. As I mentioned, there is a condition in Chaos Arena in which both players start with the Wabbajack, and Wabbajack is pretty just much universally considered the most wacky, high-impact, crazy RNG card in Legends, to the point where it's not played too much as you might expect. However, in the Chaos Arena condition where both players start with the Wabbajack, when I stream Chaos Arena and I get into that lane condition, I like to stress that using Wabbajack does take some degree of skill if you want to use it optimally. I stress the importance of making sure you find the right targets to Wabbajack into, and make sure you find the right times to hold the Wabbajack and have a charge remaining for some big threat or some extra, time when you really need to swing the game back in your favor. The RNG is in itself completely uncontrollable, but the card is controllable. And that's sort of the same deal with the Wabbajack edition of the draft. You don't really ever have any sort of say in what cards will be offered, except the knowledge this time that they will be the same rarity as the cards you were offered. So there's no strict benefit to Wabbajacking a set of 3 commons, but you do have a say in holding off on the Wabbajack. Maybe you get 3 sort of average cards. You're like, well, I could use one of the Wabbajack charges in the draft here, but I might as well hold it for when I get 3 just completely awful cards that have no place in my deck. Can I make this one work, or can I just use the Wabbajack on it? Should I hold it instead? So I do think it adds some level of skill to the draft despite the clear randomness, and Chaos Arena in general is a mode that will serve to reduce the skill gap. So basically, just for the sake of argument, we'll say an amazing player can maintain 80% win rate when there are no outside random factors, and a poor player will get a 20% win rate. Obviously that's very extreme. Let's just say no randomness involved or something. Chaos Arena will push those players closer together in win rate, so the higher ranked player will probably win more closer to 50% than the 80%, and the worst player will probably start winning a bit more because the random elements, it's just so variant, and there's less of it under your control basically. But I think in this sort of draft edition, you do have a lot of control over when you use the Wabbajack, and I think that's important. There are some things that I wish it did a bit differently. I actually kind of misread this announcement when I was just skimming it the first time, and I got pretty excited. What I thought was happening was sort of just not doing the traditional Chaos Arena at all this weekend, and instead of that, we were going to get presented the Wabbajack in the draft, and we were able to sort of re-roll a few picks. I also think the number of picks you're offered with the Wabbajack. I get the point. Obviously, it's to make it more wacky and more variant, and I'm just talking as someone who thinks this does have some potential as a skill testing edition of the format. But I do think five different rerolls is quite a lot. At that point, the skill that I was talking about and holding your Wabbajack charges, so to speak, even in the draft edition, I mean, you can kind of get some leeway there, because maybe you get 3 average picks. It might be objectively smart to hold it if you only had 3 uses of the reroll, but now you can just pretty much just use it whenever. I also think, I know this isn't how Wabbajack works, but I think this would be very cool if you actually could only still get cards within your class. I think that decreases the scope of the RNG to a point where it's a lot more manageable and you can make a lot more informed decisions about whether or not you're getting a weak pick or a strong pick. And, you know, maybe that obviously it's not how Wabbajack works, right? You see Wabbajack in the game, it doesn't transform a random creature into a random creature of the same attribute, or even within the class of the person who's controlling the creature. It just transforms into a random creature, no control whatsoever. So this is definitely lore friendly, it's definitely friendly with how the card actually operates in the game. I'm just speaking as someone who sees potential in rerolls during a draft. I think a regular versus arena event where you get 3 rerolls within your same class at the same rarity for each of those picks, that would be super fun for me, honestly, because I really do enjoy, you know, just normal versus arena. Would it be as flashy? Would it be as objectively fun for someone who's not a super hardcore player? Probably not. It wouldn't pull someone to play the game again after taking a break, but it would be cool to me. And another tiny issue I have with the sheer amount of picks you get with the Wabbajack, the sheer amount of rerolls on the picks, and also the fact that you can get cards outside your class, so basically any card is on the table, is kind of the same problem I have with those really high RNG cards like Eldergleam Matron, Telvanni Arcanist, Revealing the Unseen, Battle Mage's Onslaught, these cards that just pull random cards with very few restrictions. Eldergleam Matron, actually not quite so much because it is a random animal, but like pulling a random action into the game from wherever, from whatever color, whatever class, all of a sudden when your opponent plays a card like Telvanni Arcanist or Revealing the Unseen, you really lose the ability to correctly play around anything. You can play around the cards your opponent has, and as soon as they use the card they got randomly, obviously you don't really have to consider it much anymore usually. But before that point, do you play around Burn and Pillage? Do you play around Dawn's Wrath, Immolating Blast, all kinds of things, Ice Storm, Piercing Javelin? You really don't know, and there's no way of getting sort of an educated guess except by watching your opponent's plays, but that's not going to be an option here. With the 5 different rerolls you have with the Wabbajack, one can safely assume that all 5 are going to be used in the majority of people's drafts during this event, so all that tells me is that during the course of these games there could be up to and including 5 cards of any class, of any color, somewhere in my opponent's deck, and that's just kind of impossible to play around. When I'm up against an assassin, I usually don't have to play around Silence. I don't think my assassin opponent's going to be dropping a Night Talon Lord or a Skeletal Dragon. I don't think my Battle Mage opponent's going to be playing Red Brahmin on me. But, you know, in the nature of Wabbajack, this edition, my Battle Mage opponent could very well Red Brahmin me, and right after that they could play a High King Emmerich. I really have no idea, and, you know, no real ability to even play around things. And in Arena that's already a bit more difficult, because again, a lot of cards in Arena can make sense to pick. There are very few cards over the hundreds and hundreds of arenas that I've played that I can say I've never taken in any arena deck. Very few cards. And in Constructed, there's always that pool of playable cards, and then there's the pool of cards that don't quite make it, so you don't really need to play around them quite as much. And you know, in Versus Arena, that is expanded. And, you know, I think that's one of the major pulls to the format. It's a little bit harder to play around everything, but it's a little more fun because you get to make use of underused cards. But in this particular edition, I think it's going to be kind of impossible to really play around anything, and I think it does have potential moving forward. I know it's Chaos Arena, I know what they're trying to go for, I have no real problems with it, but I think it would be cool in the future to try this out in a little bit more of a limited scope. Maybe you only get 3 choices, maybe you only get 3 rerolls, and maybe the choices you get offered during those rerolls are still cards from your class. I think that would serve to actually increase the skill in the arena draft, and I think, you know, as it is now, it just sort of plays to the Chaos Arena mode. But these are only my thoughts. I do enjoy the initiative to change this mode up somewhat. I think any change is good change really at this point. and I'm excited to give this a shot on stream and hopefully have some interesting drafts as well. Hopefully you are. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on the mode, if you like what the points that I've brought up, if you don't like those points, if you're excited to play it, if you're not, just let me know. Love to hear you guys' thoughts. Join the conversation in the comments, and as always, if you've enjoyed the video, feel free to leave a like and stay subscribed for more Legends content. Follow my stream in the description, and I'll see you next time.